hungry.
All right, we're joined by Coach Waters and Anton Grady of Cleveland State. Coach, why don't you make an opening statement about the team, and then we'll go to questions.
Well, you know, almost here. Almost here. How's everyone doing? Good, good. I'm excited about this year. You know, last year, coming off of last year, and the changes of faces is really going to be something pretty unique to see this year. I mean, it's going to be quite a few changes. Anton Grady's back, you know, and he's at full health, and we've added about 2 players that really will help us. One in Trey Lewis, a guard that transferred us from Penn State, and then we also added John Harris, who also was a transfer from Miami of Ohio. 2 kids that will help us immediately. We've gotten bigger, stronger, if you want to call it that. We had a trip that we took over to Paris, France, the Netherlands, and Belgium, which gave them some time to communicate and come together and get to know each other better. And not only that, they had a great experience. Our practices have gone extremely well, and I'm going to tell you why. It's not as much the difference in talent, and we are different in talent, but because of the new NCAA ruling where you can practice in 30 days of your 42 from your first game. I think that's the biggest adjustment the NCAA has made in college basketball. We practice, and every time we practice, our guys come back fresh. That's something that never happened in the past. I mean, you would go, if you think about it, you started October 15th, and you had 3 weeks to get it in, and if you didn't get it in, you're in trouble. And so it's been really great for us. Our kids are excited. They come to practice every day to get the work done. And I expect some very special things to happen this year.
Mike? You would be eager to start any season. Well, when you're coming off a difficult year, it's not didn't meet your standards. Can you talk about what the offseason like and how eager it is for you to get going again and get rid of that bad?
Yeah, and you know, that was something that I know our guys weren't used to, but you have to go through that sometimes, especially when you're young. You know, I don't know if many of you knew this out there. We were slated as the youngest team in college basketball last year. So with youth, you're going to get some ups and downs and some issues that can occur. The positive thing I feel about now and why I'm excited about getting started is because even though we still have youth in this program, we have experience. We have guys that want to get out there. You know, take like Anton Grady, didn't get a chance to play last year. He's chomping at the bit to hit the court. He told me in here, let's go, coach. You ready to go hit it? And so, you know, they're excited to get back out there. But, you know, I think it's on a competitive nature. They're tired of beating each other up. They want to get out there. Now, why is that? Because, you know, like I told you, we went overseas, and when you get 10 days of practice, so we got in a lot of basketball even before we started our first day of practice. So in essence, it's become very, very competitive for everyone there, and they're ready to move on, take that next step. Yes.
Coach, you had one of the best moments of Media Day last year when you said, if you're going to get us, you better get us this year because we're coming for you next year. What is, do you stand by that?
Well, I got to be a little bit more humble this year.
What reinforce that? Or?
Oh, I'm really excited because, you know, the prime example, I've taken 6 teams overseas. This is the first team I took overseas, went undefeated over there. And that, I mean, and you're playing against pros, and they went over and competed, and they enjoyed competing together, and that's what makes me excited. You know, they enjoy playing with each other, and I'm gonna say a third of them are new, and they enjoy it. So it's something that I'm excited to see how it all transpires, but at the same time, I feel very good about this team.
Mike,
when you have that many new faces, is there an early period of anxiety that you're waiting to see how they're all going to fit together, and are you past that? Are you pretty confident now?
Well, I'm past that, and I'll tell you why. That trip actually gets you past that because you get a chance to see all those guys in action. And one of the things we did over there, we started a new lineup every single game, and the kids didn't complain, weren't concerned, and they just played. And I'm excited because they have a chance to redeem themselves. I think they want that. They felt what occurred last year was not Cleveland State. Anton sitting on the bench and couldn't do a thing said that's not us, and he constantly said that. And when you get that, it gives your coach a little energy to say, hey, let's go get it done. But now when you go overseas and you get a chance to play with each other, you see all that. It's really clear in front of your face.
Mike?
Anton, how hard is it to sit on the bench and not be able to help them watch games?
It's very hard, but the biggest thing you got to get something up out of it. You can't just think about yourself. So when I was sitting on the bench, just instead of soaking in it and me not playing, I had to get something up out of it, meaning help my team. So if I'm helping my team, then I'm building myself as a person, and I'm helping build my teammates. So it's like I had to find out what was my purpose for getting injured, and what do I need to do to help others around me.
Is there a psychological barrier when you come off of knee surgery?
That's a good question.
Psychological barrier that you have to play through, and have you seen them do that?
Well, you want to answer that, Anton, and then I'll follow up. Just to give
you can say it's not, but there's always going to be, I think, one when you have an injury. But as coach always tell me, you're whole. So he always tell me just to play, you're whole. And I think that helps me sometimes, because sometimes you might catch yourself not going as hard or playing gently. Then you hear you're whole, you understand. I'm not injured. I'm just sent back, and I'm not giving it all because I'm trying to protect myself. But as the overseas trip, I felt I was playing whole, and I was playing with no limitation, no hesitation.
Well, and the positive thing is I didn't know either, because he hadn't played when we finished our last game. He hadn't played until I think it was 2 weeks before we went on that trip.
Yeah.
2 weeks before we went on that trip. So he had to reestablish everything. I mean, how to run, do it consistently like that. And when he did it, the numbers were still the same, so I couldn't complain.
Paul?
And, not thinking about the knee, but you had basketball taken away from you for a year. Does that fuel the player more? And how does the game different for you now that you've missed it for a year?
It just gives me motivation. It gives me a bigger chip on my shoulder, like I add more. I love it because when I sit back and I hear the rankings, and it tells myself like, do they know who playing in this league, and like that things like that just help me every time I step on the court.
Coach, what are your thoughts on the rankings? You had a team that struggled last year, and now you're number 3 in the conference.
Well, they must have thought something, I tell you that, to put us all the way up there. But at the same token, Wright State had a very good year last year, and they got the majority of their guys back. Same with Green Bay. So, I don't have any question with that. They're going to be very good teams. I think Oakland coming into our league is a competitor that no one knows because they can really put up points, and they've been doing it. And what do I mean by that? When you put up a number of points, someone has to match those points. Regardless how well you play defense, you got to match those points, and they have the potential to do so. I look at Youngstown with 2 prolific scorers, and they have a lot of players coming back as well. So I think they're going to be pretty strong. But you know what? I don't fear any of it. We're excited about it. Our guys are ready, chomping at the bit, if you want to call it that. And, the thing about transfer students is, they got to sit a year normally. Now we have one that doesn't have. I don't want to say got past the system, but he was allowed to still play this year primarily because his father is ill, very ill. He had to come back to Cleveland, and he was a very good player at the school he was at. So for him, it's a new challenge for him. But for the other new guys that are out there, they've been sitting and waiting and practicing every day as well. Anton could see them from the sideline competing every day, and they want to get out there and play. And so and I tell you what really was unique about the whole thing. When you have these players all in your stable, you as a coach, you want to know what they're going to do, but we had an opportunity to see what they do when we went overseas. And when you get that opportunity, that's why I thought it was a great year for us, or a great period, because we had a chance to see them, they had a chance to show us, and they had a chance to relate to their teammates. And when you get all that going at once, positive things happen.
Mike?
How tough is it for a young man to come to a new school and at the same time be facing a family crisis?
Oh, it's tough. His is really tough because he's the only one that helped get him around and do all that stuff. So, he's only around us half time. And again, I'm going to say, us going over to the Netherlands and to France helped, because he got away from that, because it was a mental thing and it really was getting to him. He got away from that and could just spend some time with us, and we just shared each other.
Anything else for Coach? I have one question.
Okay.
You like to get up and get into people.
Yeah, these rules, boy, I tell you that.
That was my question. The NCAA
Yeah.
of emphasis.
Yeah. But the one thing we've always said, we even overseas, you got to understand, overseas you play these games and they're not used to the way we play, so those officials calling everything they see. I mean, it had to be 60 fouls. But you know what I'm saying? I tell our guys, go after them, because they can't call every call, and eventually something will go right.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.
What? I'm sorry. One more.
Anton, talk about, you only got to play with them 6 games last year, but how do you think you and Bryn Forbes can play out there together?
One of the biggest things with me and Bryn Forbes he's one of the closest guys I'm with off the court. So that helped transition on the court, because most people want to bring few, because who's the best player, who's going to score the most that night. That's not a thing between us, because we're friends. So basketball is not going to come between us as friends. So overseas, me and Bryn play really well together.
Okay. All right. Good. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for making the effort to be here. Thanks. So these are in order.